Hello, everyone. Today on Good Morning Maine, a woman convicted of killing her 3-year-old son is now appealing her conviction.
Plus, we'll hear why a group of protesters was arrested last night at the offices of Congressman Jared Golden.
And a UMaine professor shares his thoughts on this week's election as the dust continues to settle.
Good morning and welcome to Good Morning Maine. I'm Emma Smith.
And I'm Craig Colson. Thank you for joining us. We'll have those stories along with all the day's news coming up. But first, a check of that forecast, as we always do. Looks like kind of a cloudy day ahead today. Maybe even a chance for a little rain, a little snow. Could be messy the further north you go.
I know. Definitely a good day to keep an eye on the radar if you have any travel in mind. Let's get a check of that forecast with Devin Biggs.
Alrighty, thank you very much. Happy Thursday. Your first weather forecast brought to you by Joe's Market. Discover Joe's Market, 102 Garland Street in Bangor. Your one-stop shop for groceries, fine wines, and craft beers. Quality and variety await you at Joe's. As we get into things this morning, a couple of advisories we have our eye on. The small craft advisory was dropped earlier this morning at 5 a.m. We just had this winter weather advisory for the northwestern parts of the state. That'll drop at around 3 o'clock p.m. coming up later this afternoon. And so watching for some active weather that's moving in from the west, going toward the east. Rain and snow will be possible today. Mainly snow, but a little bit of rainfall will be expected with this thing as well. As it tracks in from the west, going toward the east, I'll move the radar over just a bit so you can see the system that's kind of tracking off towards the east. So later this morning, though, we'll be watching this thing moving in. By around 10 o'clock or so, we'll start seeing this thing starting to move in or so. Let's zoom things out, give you the bigger picture. Here's the system right about here. It looks like we had a little bit of lightning with this thing as well. So some energy with it last night early this morning. And now we're watching it moving into our backyard. So otherwise, we'll be watching this thing moving in today. Snowfall mainly, but a little bit of rain cannot be ruled out either. We could possibly see it switch over to a little bit of a wintry mix of rain, sleet, and snow for a while later on this evening. Then once we head towards tomorrow morning, this will begin to back off. So your hourly forecast for the rest of the morning and afternoon period, the winds are a lot calmer as well. There is a wintry precipitation beginning late morning to the afternoon period with temperatures in the 30s. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up.
All right, sounds like a slippery mess. Thank you very much, Devin. Well, in today's news, a Stockton Springs woman who was sentenced in 2022 to nearly 50 years in prison for the murder of her 3-year-old child is now attempting to appeal her conviction. Our Grace Blanchard was in the court yesterday and has the details.
In October of 2022, Jessica Williams of Stockton Springs was convicted of murdering her 3-year-old son, Maddox Williams, and sentenced to 47 years in prison. Oral arguments were made in court on Wednesday in an attempt to appeal that conviction and sentence.
This was perhaps one of the most public homicide prosecutions in recent years.
Rory McNamara is representing Williams. He argues there was no evidence Williams was with the child during the time the injuries were sustained.
And that there's simply insufficient evidence of causation here.
According to court records, the medical examiner previously testified that Maddox's injuries reflected a pattern of abuse.
The relationship between your client and the child, she was verbally abusive to him, rejecting him as resembling her former husband.
Assistant District Attorney Don Maycomber argued there should be no question of the jury's conviction.
He describes speculation and conjecture, but the jury picks up as his rational inferences.
According to the court, a deliberation process could take up to several months. In Bangor, Grace Blanchard for ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
A wild police chase yesterday in Skowhegan. There aren't many details available, but video captured by a bystander shows how it all came to an end. In this video, shared by Zach Burwood, you see police from a number of agencies chasing a pickup truck through downtown Skowhegan. The truck turns into a parking area where authorities attempted to block him in. It appears the driver tried to get away, bumping into some cruisers until it finally came to an end with police making the arrest at gunpoint. The video was captured by a worker who was in a bucket lift that was also bumped during the chase, but no one was seriously hurt, thankfully. More details on the chase and the man who was arrested should become available today.
Imagine being the guy up in the bucket truck when all that was happening.
No, thank you. Oh my gosh.
Well, in other news this morning, an inmate that walked away from a work site in Machias has now been indicted by the Washington County Grand Jury. James Berube was the subject of a search last July after he walked away from his assigned work site at Maine Wild. He was an inmate at the Down East Correctional Facility at the time of the incident and was serving a 12-year sentence for kidnapping, burglary, theft, and arson, also eluding an officer. The grand jury indicted him on a new charge of escape.
3 men have been arrested after a months-long investigation into drug trafficking. Maine Drug Enforcement Agency Commander Peter Arno says U.S. Postal inspectors have been working with drug agents for months on the suspected distribution of significant quantities of cocaine throughout Penobscot and other counties. Early Tuesday morning, police stopped a vehicle just north of Newport, driven by 28-year-old Chase Kane of Bangor. 27-year-old Benjamin Hughes of Brewer was with him. MDEA says when they searched the vehicle, police found 4 pounds of cocaine with an estimated street value in excess of $200,000. Both Kane and Hughes are being charged with aggravated trafficking in cocaine. Police also searched 315 Griffin Road in Bangor, where Arno says they seized more drugs, firearms, and cash believed to be from drug sales. 30-year-old Hayden Taylor of Brewer was found with a loaded semi-automatic handgun and a backpack containing drugs. He is being charged with aggravated trafficking in drugs and possession of a firearm by a prohibited person.
Well, multiple people now face drug charges stemming from a bust in Abbott. The Piscataquis County Sheriff's Office says deputies executed a search warrant at a property on the Monument Road in Abbott where they suspected drugs were being dealt. They say during that search, deputies seized 239 grams of fentanyl and 21 grams of meth, along with some cash. 36-year-old Brandon Boudelaire of Abbott was arrested for unlawful trafficking of a scheduled drug and violation of conditions of release. Police say 34-year-old Katarina Drinkwater of Sangerville and 37-year-old Zane Harmon were also present on the property and were charged with illegal possession of a scheduled drug.
Several protesters were arrested Wednesday afternoon during a sit-in at the Bangor offices of Congressman Jared Golden. They're concerned with the bloodshed underway in occupied Palestine and are calling on the congressman to support legislation that calls for a ceasefire. According to WVII radio, the group released a statement saying, "For far too long, our government has aided and abetted the mass theft of Palestinian land and the mass imprisonment of Palestinian people on a small fraction of land that is rightfully theirs." They say our government is now supporting the slaughter, the collected punishment, and ethnic cleansing of innocent Palestinian men, women, and children. The group of protesters was arrested late Wednesday afternoon after they refused to leave Golden's office. They were charged with criminal trespassing.
A truck fire along I-95 South in Carmel left traffic at a standstill yesterday morning. According to the Maine Department of Public Safety, a concrete pumping truck was traveling down the highway when a fire started in the engine compartment. The driver pulled over as the fire intensified, and crews from Carmel Fire Department responded to the scene to help put it out. Excuse me. DEP had crews called in to make sure the environmental impact was accounted for as they offloaded extra fuel from the truck, which belonged to Flagship Pumping LLC out of Plymouth. The official cause of that fire is under investigation.
The office of Governor Janet Mills says Maine's government is going to cover the cost of funerals for families who lost loved ones in the deadliest mass shooting in the state's history. The state is getting the money from a victims' compensation program run through the Attorney General's office and supplementing it with money from the governor's contingent account. Army reservist Robert Card opened fire inside a Lewiston bowling alley and a bar on October 25th, killing 18 people and wounding 13 others. Several victims died while trying to protect children or attempting to subdue the shooter. Funerals for the victims of the shootings began last week.
Mainers made their voices heard at the polls on Election Day. Following the election, our David Ledford spoke with a political science expert for a professional's perspective on the results.
In an election with several hotly debated ballot questions, experts say questions 3 and 4 stood out as some of the most important last night. Voters rejected question 3, a proposal to create Pine Tree Power. University of Maine political science professor Mark Brewer broke down why he thinks we got this result.
Everybody's going to point to the spending differential, right? That the people who are opposed to that, vastly outspent those people who were supportive, and that mattered for sure. But I think that the message that really resonated with voters was that this was a risky proposition, right? The opponents were saying this is not a well thought out plan. There's just too much that we don't know. And I don't think those supporters of the effort were ever really able to counter that message in any meaningful way.
On the other hand, voters approved question 4, the right to repair. Brewer says he believes this outcome is partly because of the messaging that led up to the election.
Mainers want to have options, right? I mean, nobody wants to get stuck with just one option to go get something done, regardless of what it is. So I think that the right to repair message was an easier message to pitch and to sell than the message in opposition.
As for the 6 other ballot questions, Brewer says the results are unsurprising.
I think this was, as far as recent kind of referenda cycles in Maine, this one was relatively low key. The other items, I think, more or less went as people expected them to go. So I didn't see any big surprises.
Brewer says the turnout was typical of most Maine elections, but that's because voter participation is usually high.
Maine is almost always within the top 5 in the country in voter turnout at the state level. I think in Maine, there's a strong tradition of civic responsibility, and I think that really does have something to say about the importance of participatory political culture here in Maine.
For more on the election, visit our website at foxbangor.com. In Bangor, David Ledford, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
All right, the time now is 6:11. Coming up next on Good Morning Maine, a group of lobstermen say they will donate over 1,000 pounds of lobster to Lewiston restaurants to help raise money for the families affected by the mass shooting.
We'll have the details and more, but first, another look at our local weather forecast for today. A chance of rain and snow as the day rolls along. The highs will be near 35 degrees. Rain, sleet, snow, and even some fog overnight. Lows dropping down to around 30. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy and breezy, a bit warmer with a high near 47.
Choosing Miracle Ear was a great decision. Like when I decided to host family movie nights. Miracle Ear made it easy. I just booked an appointment and a certified hearing care professional evaluated my hearing loss and helped me find the right device calibrated to my unique hearing needs. Now I enjoy every moment. The quiet ones and the loud ones.
Make a sound decision. Call now and book your free hearing evaluation.
Join us every Friday this season as we celebrate the return to the gridiron with the most highlights, reaction, and analysis of your favorite teams. Catch Sports Blitz Friday at 11 on ABC 7. Sports Blitz brought to you by Coastal Auto Parts, your local Napa Auto Parts dealer with 29 locations, owned and operated by a Maine family that cares. And by Dorsey Furniture, Route 1A Holdings, where you'll find furniture that's in stock and ready for delivery.
All the nonsense
Fibber
meets no nonsense.
I don't buy it.
Judge Judy.
Weekdays at 5 on ABC 7.
Well, of course you're doing well. You're here on Wheel of Fortune.
Let's go win some money.
These contestants are going places.
Scandinavia.
They're moving and shaking and getting it done here on Wheel.
You could try to make it look a little harder.
Weekdays at 7 on ABC 7.
Local elementary students stepped up to show their support for our military ahead of Veterans Day. Students at Ames Elementary in Searsmont have been collecting donations as part of the Hygiene for Heroes program. Students gathered items like toothbrushes, razors, hand sanitizers, and other personal essentials, as well as a number of different snacks. Members of the Belfast VFW picked up the care packages yesterday, which will all be sent to active duty military personnel.
When you're out in the army, you don't really get to just go buy a pack of bubble gum in the stores. It makes me feel good that we're helping out the soldiers and veterans that served in the army.
One of our troops who just recently joined our VFW, he was serving in Iraq in 2009 in Baghdad, and he got a package and it said Belfast, Maine, and it came from Rennie's. And he's a grown man in a combat zone, a solid, seasoned soldier, and it brought tears to his eyes because it was something from home.
Hygiene for Heroes has been a tradition for years, but this is the first time students have been able to participate since before the pandemic. As a show of appreciation, each student was given a star from a retired U.S. flag.
A Coal Land Transportation Museum in Bangor is working hard to fill an Army Jeep full of non-perishable items for the Maine Veterans Project. The museum participated in the fundraiser last year, but the donations that have been collected so far this year have been a bit sparse. Julius Morano of the Maine Veterans Project says all non-expired, non-perishable goods collected at Cole's Museum will be given to veterans during a food handout at the Maine Veterans Office on Park Street on November 20th.
One of the biggest things that with our organization is to make sure that they know that it is okay to ask for help. It is the hardest thing over the last 20 years or so of trying to get veterans to actually ask for the help that they actually need.
The public has until Friday to drop off donations at the Cole Museum on the Perry Road right here in Bangor.
Some local lobstermen are donating their catch to help the victims of the Lewiston shooting and their families. The lobstermen are donating lobsters to the Porthole, Jay's, and Luke's. The restaurants will cook them and sell them, and the money from the meals will be donated to help those injured, as well as families of those who died. Lobstermen say the restaurants they reached out to couldn't say yes fast enough.
Maine is such a, it might be a big state, but it's like one big small town, and we all feel affected when something happens, and you all want to help. Everybody wants to do something, and as a lobsterman, you know, I'm not that close to Lewiston, but it's still part of us. It's part of our state. It's like, what can I do to help?
At least one lobsterman says he plans to donate 1,000 to 2,000 pounds of lobster to the cause. The restaurants will serve the lobsters Tuesday, the 14th, some at a discount.
What a nice thing to do.
Wow, yeah. That really brings the state together.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, the time now 6:16. After the break, November is Pancreatic Cancer Awareness Month, and to raise awareness of this, you may have noticed several businesses in downtown Bangor are lit up with purple.
We'll learn more about that as Good Morning Maine continues.
This morning, what you didn't get to see last night on the CMA Awards, you'll see on GMA. Lara Spencer taking you behind the scenes with special GMA backstage access. In with the stars, the winners, even Luke and Peyton. This morning, GMA backstage at the CMA Awards on
Good Morning America.
R&K Variety is more than just a convenience store. With delicious homemade food made fresh daily. We offer hearty meals that don't break the bank. Whether it be our delicious chicken pot pie, one of our many savory soups, or a pizza, you can't go wrong at R&K Variety. Looking for a drink after a long workday? R&K Variety is an agency liquor store with an impressive selection. R&K Variety, more than just a convenience store. We're your neighbor, chef, barista, and friend. Stop by today.
Every night is pizza night at Dragonfire Pizza, from wings, salads, and sides to our specialty wood-fired pizzas. You'll find everything you need to satisfy any craving by the slice or by the pie. A little slice of heaven is waiting for you at Dragonfire Pizza, Mill Mall, Ellsworth.
Went in, signed the papers, and within a week or so they called me to report.
And we landed on the same beach that the invasion started.
The airplane crashed just short of the runway and killed all 24 people.
Pearl Harbor was bombed. We all manned our battle stations.
I'm the only World War II veteran left in town.
Our Heroes, Their Own Words, Friday at 7 on Fox 22.
Welcome back, everyone. November is Pancreatic Cancer Awareness Month, and to honor those battling the disease, many spots in downtown Bangor and Brewer are lit up in purple lights. As Jody Hersey tells us, this outpouring of community support is all thanks to Chris Parrish, a 15-year pancreatic cancer survivor from Brewer.
It was my job to beat pancreatic cancer.
Chris Parrish of Brewer was diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer in 2008. With no prior family history of the disease, Parrish turned her shock into action by getting a second and third opinion on her diagnosis, which eventually led her to the Cancer Treatment Centers of America just outside of Chicago for chemo treatment.
It was called intra-arterial therapy, which is like a heart catheter, but instead of going to your heart, it went to my pancreas and liver. And in a 15-hour period, it took 40 times the amount of chemo, and it just kept rotating through my system and my pancreas and liver. And that's what I really think really stifled the pancreatic cancer.
Parrish's treatment stopped in 2012. The same year, she decided to create the Purple Iris Foundation, a nonprofit created to raise awareness, provide support, and give hope to individuals affected by cancer, not just pancreatic cancer.
Because I knew I was put here for a special reason, I just didn't know what it was, and it found me. So in some respects, I'm grateful for my cancer journey because it's put me on the path that I was meant to be on.
Because of her bravery and her willingness to share her cancer journey with others, businesses have teamed up with Parrish to shine a light on the disease throughout the month of November. Masons and Brewer is one of the businesses lit up in purple lights.
Yeah, it's just to bring awareness. So there's a lot of people in this area that have lost, and people to pancreatic cancer, and people that are battling, and it shows support. It's community, and that's what we're trying to do.
In Brewer, I'm Jody Hersey for ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
I just think the world of Chris. She has been a guest here on the morning show, on the noon report over the years. Just a wonderful champion for that cause, and just continues all these years later. And what an inspiration to others too. You know, when you get that, especially pancreatic cancer, when you get that diagnosis, it's not a good thing. That's one of the more difficult cancers to fight. But she keeps her spirits up, and she shares that with others, and it kind of gives them hope too. And she's living proof that there's treatments available too.
Yeah, definitely.
So, pretty neat.
The time now is 6:21.
Let's get a full look at our forecast.
Alrighty, thank you very much. Your full weather forecast brought to you by Joe's Market. Discover Joe's Market, 102 Garland Street in Bangor. Your one-stop shop for groceries, fine wines, and craft beers. Quality and variety await you at Joe's. Alright, a couple of advisories from earlier this morning. A small crowd advisory expired at 5 a.m., so we're finished with that one. This one, though, remains in effect for the northwestern parts of the state until 3 o'clock p.m. because of snowfall and a little bit of a wintry mix that will be moving in as well. Wave heights have definitely calmed down from the winds that we had yesterday. Still active further out towards sea, though. You can see where the surface just a little bit higher, but near us, though, a lot of this is a lot calmer at around 1 to 2 feet. And now we're watching the radar as well. Precipitation moving in from the west, going toward the east as well. We're calm for now, but look what's moving in our direction. Rain and snow on the way, though. Mainly snowfall, but a little bit of rainfall will be possible throughout the daytime period as this all tracks in from the west, going toward the east. Let's zoom things out and give you the bigger picture. So low pressure right about in here, tracking from the west, going toward the east, and that's what's going to be giving us the precipitation coming out throughout the daytime period for today. So futurecast moving forward, mainly snowfall, a little bit of rain could mix in as well. This begins mainly at around 10 o'clock a.m. or so, and we'll keep it going throughout the daytime period, mixing in with a little bit of rain from time to time. And this pink right here indicating a little bit of a wintry mix possible of rain, sleet, and snow possible as we head towards later this evening. But the good news is, as we head towards later on tonight, this all begins to back off, and then we enter a calm stretch, though, where the weather will remain quiet for a good while as we head towards Friday morning. No, a mixture of some clouds and sunshine, and that'll be about it. I do believe we'll stay dry for the day on Friday, and just by Friday night as well, just some clouds passing through from time to time, and that'll be about it. Otherwise, though, the snowfall accumulations moving forward, though, looks a little bit like this. So hardly anything further down toward the south, though, so nothing too major. You have to go further off towards the north, or maybe up to an inch or two of snowfall will be possible before we're all finished up. So a little bit down here, though, by the Bangor area and areas to the south, but with the warmer temperatures, whatever falls will melt rather quickly. So that forecast coming up for today, middle 30s, mostly cloudy, rain and snow. The wind will be a lot calmer today, with that northwest wind getting up to about 5 miles per hour. Later on tonight, though, lower 30s, rain, sleet, and snow possible. Some patchy fog as well cannot be ruled out, with that east wind getting up to about 5 miles per hour. For tomorrow, upper 40s, mostly cloudy and breezy, with that west wind getting up to about 25 miles per hour. Joe's Market extended forecast, so partly cloudy on Saturday, which is Veterans Day, with highs in the lower 40s. Lower 40s again on Sunday with a mostly sunny sky, and mostly sunny on Monday, highs in the low 40s.
This Veterans Day, join Fox ABC Maine as we salute and honor our veterans. Are you an active, inactive, or retired member of the armed services? Do you know someone who is? Then upload your photos on foxbangor.com/Maine Heroes. We will randomly select multiple veterans to win a gift voucher from Chick-fil-A. Locally sponsored by First National Bank, Healing Hands Massage, Silver Fox Automotive, and Triple S Tax Shop.
If I don't hear from you tonight, pull the sword. I know it, but I can't let go. Everything I love is out to sea.
The Greg B. Harrell Show. ...
Am I supposed to read the ...
More than that, you know there's nothing.
Renovating or building new, you'll find a wide selection of high-performing, energy-efficient, and beautiful windows and doors at Hammond Lumber Company. Your Hammond sales representative will walk you through the showroom displays and help you choose options to create a personalized custom look. Free in-home measurement is available, and Hammond can deliver your order from any of their locations across Maine and New Hampshire. Bring your vision and enjoy better light and added security and energy savings with quality windows and doors from Hammond Lumber Company.
A texting driver hit me and I had to stop working. I needed help, but the insurance company only offered me this tiny check.
This tiny check won't even cover my medical bills.
After a car accident, don't take a tiny check from the insurance company. Call the twos.
I didn't take a tiny check. I called the twos, and Lowry & Associates got me over $350,000.
Call the twos. We win for you.
If you're hurt in an accident, what do you do? Call 222-2222.
You're watching ABC 7 Bangor.
All right, now let's throw it over to Devin Dagnall for a look at our national news.
Thanks, Emma. And now turning to a new U.S. airstrike targeting Iran-backed fighters in the Middle East. On the same day, a U.S. drone was shot down in the region. ABC's Liz Landers has the latest.
This morning, new video of a U.S. military drone flying off the coast of Yemen when it's blasted out of the sky. Iran-backed Houthi rebels releasing the footage, claiming to show militants shooting down a $30 million American Reaper drone over international waters. ABC has not independently verified the video. The Pentagon yesterday also announcing a U.S. airstrike on a weapons storage facility in Syria used by Iran and its proxies.
Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin saying in a statement, the United States is fully prepared to take further necessary measures to protect our people and our facilities.
Iran-backed militants across the region have warned of a widening conflict due to U.S. support for Israel's war on Hamas. New video shows Israeli airstrikes targeting Hamas in Gaza, this strike near a mosque. Israeli ground forces say they've destroyed 130 Hamas tunnels, including one near a school. Talks for a pause in the fighting are ongoing. Sources say Israel is considering a proposal from Egypt and Qatar for a humanitarian pause in exchange for the release of dozens of hostages held by Hamas. Meanwhile, more than 400 U.S. citizens have been able to escape Gaza in recent days, including a Michigan man and his wife, finally back home.
Everybody's scared and bomb everywhere. When I go sleep, we cannot sleep. Maybe I sleep in the chair like 30 minutes a day.
Authorities in Brazil yesterday arrested 2 men with suspected Hezbollah ties, accused of planning attacks on the Jewish community in that country. In Washington, Liz Landers, ABC News.
All right. And now the third presidential debate playing out last night in Miami, Florida, a key state for candidates in the 2024 presidential race. But the former president decided to once again skip the stage, instead allowing his rivals to duke it out for hours. Liz Landers also has the latest from Washington.
Your words, not mine.
Fireworks on the Republican debate stage in Miami last night, and things quickly turning personal when Vivek Ramaswamy attacked Nikki Haley's 25-year-old daughter for using TikTok.
While her own daughter was actually using the app for a long time, so you might want to take care of your family first.
Leave my daughter out of your voice.
Here's the truth.
You're just
The 5 qualifying candidates took to the stage to debate politics and policy for the first time since war broke out between Israel and Hamas, offering their solutions to the conflict.
You cannot negotiate with evil. You have to destroy it. The last time that we turned our back on a shooting war in Europe, it bought us just a couple of years. And then 500,000 Americans were killed in Europe to defeat Hitler.
The political outsider Ramaswamy addressing the Republican losses in Tuesday's elections, pushing for accountability in the GOP.
We've become a party of losers at the end of the day. It was a cancer in the Republican establishment.
The candidates also playing defense over the issue of abortion rights after the party's election losses this week. The lone woman on the stage responding to a question about federal abortion laws.
So no Republican president can ban abortions any more than a Democrat president can ban these state laws.
Noticeably absent, the former president. With a commanding lead in the polls, Trump was about a half hour away holding his own event in Florida, but still the subject of some criticism from his former allies.
He owes it to you to be on this stage and explain why he should get another chance.
Anybody who's going to be spending the next year and a half of their life focusing on keeping themselves out of jail and courtrooms cannot lead this party or this country.
The Biden campaign responding in a statement saying that MAGA Republicans are pushing a, quote, losing agenda on issues like abortion, the economy, and Medicare. In Washington, Liz Landers, ABC News.
In other news, federal authorities say they've busted a high-end brothel network. They say the clients were some of the richest and most powerful people in the country. Here's ABC's Ryan and Ali.
Federal investigators say the network of brothels for ultra-rich clients operated out of the Boston area and the Washington, D.C. suburbs.
This commercial sex ring was built on secrecy and exclusivity, catering to a wealthy and well-connected clientele.
They say the brothels were promoted online with photos of scantily clad women. Officials say after their personal information was verified, clients would be offered sex services, some costing more than $600 per hour.
These websites facilitated the movement of predominantly Asian women across the United States for sex trafficking and a commercial sex ring, exploiting them in the process.
The brothels were allegedly run out of high-end apartment buildings, including this one in the Boston suburb of Watertown. Investigators say the ringleader, one of 3 people now charged in this case, was seen delivering women and exchanging cash. Officials have yet to reveal any of the clients' names so far, but here's how they describe them.
They are doctors, they are lawyers, they are accountants, they're elected officials. They are executives at high-tech companies and pharmaceutical companies. They're military officers, government contractors, professors, scientists. Pick a profession, they're probably represented in this case.
At least 2 of the 3 suspects face a court hearing next week. As for the clients, about 20 were interviewed for the investigation, but officials say there could be hundreds more. Rhiannon Alley, ABC News, New York.
That's about my time. Back to you, Emma and Craig.
Thanks, Devin. Coming up on the second half of the newscast, Herman Middle School students held an early community Thanksgiving meal last Wednesday. We'll check out all the locally sourced ingredients.
That and more as Good Morning Maine continues.
This Veterans Day, join Fox ABC Maine as we salute and honor our veterans. Are you an active, inactive, or retired member of the armed services? Do you know someone who is? Then upload your photos on foxbangor.com/Maine Heroes. We will randomly select multiple veterans to win a gift voucher from Chick-fil-A. Locally sponsored by Complete Tire Service, Maine Collision Center, Ryan Concrete Coating, and the Farmer's Table.
Hi, I'm Angelina Mucci.
And I'm Andy Mucci of Family Fun Bowling Center.
When we want to know the weather, we go to foxbangor.com.
Celebrating our 50th anniversary year, Family Fun Bowling Center has 20 lanes of 10-pin bowling at its best.
I got rear-ended at a stoplight, and the insurance company tried to give me this tiny little check.
Don't take a tiny check from the insurance company.
I called the twos, and Lowry & Associates got me $300,000.
Follow the twos. We win for you.
Brandywine Graphics makes it easy. We are the top source for screen printing, embroidery, branded merchandise, and direct-to-garment printing. With 25 years experience, state-of-the-art equipment, and a commitment to excellence, why trust your apparel products with anyone else? And now, Brandywine Graphics can easily launch online stores for your school or organization. Simply design your products from brands like Eddie Bauer, Carhartt, and more. Share the link and we'll do the rest. Like we said, Brandywine Graphics makes it easy. Find out more at brandywinegraphics.com or at our Hamden location. When Dover Audiology wants to know the local forecast, they log on to foxbangor.com. Come to Dover Audiology and find out where people from Kittery to Eastport go to get their hearing aids. Knowledgeable, friendly, and reasonable, Dover Audiology is your best place for hearing solutions.
For the first time, the Maine Association of Broadcasters named a television station of the year for excellence. ABC7 and Fox 22 are honored to be the very first station awarded this achievement.
You're watching ABC 7 Bangor.
Welcome back, everyone. Today is Thursday, November 9th, 2023. It is also World Freedom Day.
This holiday is held to remember the day in 1989 when the Berlin Wall began to fall. It started with just a trickle, with several holes opening on the first day, but soon people on both sides of the border began to tear it down. It had separated families and communities for almost 3 decades until communism fell in Eastern Europe.
I remember watching it on TV too. It was just amazing, the feeling of everybody, and eventually the whole towns would come out. They'd be up on top of the wall trying to take it down.
I'm sure it felt electric through the TV.
Amazing time.
Yeah.
All right, on this day in history, back in 1620, passengers aboard the Mayflower finally spotted land. They would visit Cape Cod after seeing it in Massachusetts before finally settling in nearby Plymouth. You'll like this one. In 1888, Mary Jane Kelly was found dead on her bed in London. She's believed to have been the 5th and final victim of the infamous serial killer Jack the Ripper.
I've listened to hours and hours and hours of podcasts and TV shows about Jack the Ripper.
Yeah.
It fascinates people to this day for good reasons.
Yeah.
I mean, they still don't know who he was.
Yeah, they have their suspicions and everything, but yeah, it's just one of those amazing ones.
Right.
You know, the body count isn't quite as high as some of the other more infamous ones, but something about it.
The degree to which he concealed himself and did these heinous crimes, he had to have been a trained doctor, and it's like super villain style scary stuff.
I knew you'd like that one.
Yeah. Unfortunately,
it's interesting.
I am macabre like that. Yeah.
All right, in 1997, Barry Sanders of the Detroit Lions became the first player in NFL history to rush over 1,000 yards in 9 straight seasons.
Wow. And in 2004, First Lady Barbara Bush officially reopened Pennsylvania Avenue in front of the White House to pedestrians following the attacks of 9/11. Today's birthdays include singer and TV host Nick Lachey, who's 50, rapper Peppa from Salt and Peppa is 57, and actor and bodybuilder Lou Ferrigno is 72. Wow.
He played the Hulk back in the 80s. It was a huge show.
Yeah.
Here's another one I forgot to put in there. I messed up my lines here. Theodore Roosevelt became the first U.S. president to travel abroad. I think we've had that one before. He visited both Puerto Rico and Panama.
Well, he was a busy guy.
Yeah, he's a man of the world.
Right.
So he got out and about.
Yeah.
So I would have liked to have had lunch with Teddy Roosevelt sometime.
Right.
Bet he would have been a cool guy to hang out with.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Right. One of the most unique of all our presidents, I think.
Yeah. Bully for you.
Right.
I think that's one of the things he used to say.
If we could have had reality TV shows back then, I would have had one for Teddy Roosevelt.
Call it Teddy TV.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd watch it. I'd watch it every week.
Yeah.
All right, as far as the weather's concerned, it looks like things will be getting a little messy this morning, depending on where you are. We've got some a mixed precipitation moving into the area. Some people might see a little more snow, some a little more rain. It's just that time of year.
I know, I sound like a broken record. I said this earlier, but if you got any travel going on today, good day to look at the radar.
Yeah.
Here's Devin Biggs with the forecast.
All righty, thank you very much. Happy Thursday. Your first weather forecast brought to you by Joe's Market. Discover Joe's Market, 102 Garland Street in Bangor. Your one-stop shop for groceries, fine wines, and craft beers. Quality and variety await you at Joe's. As we get into things this morning, a couple of advisories we have our eye on. The small crowd advisory was dropped earlier this morning at 5 a.m. We just had this winter weather advisory for the northwestern parts of the state. That'll drop at around 3 o'clock p.m. coming up later this afternoon. And so watching for some active weather that's moving in from the west, going toward the east. Rain and snow will be possible today. Mainly snow, but a little bit of rainfall will be expected with the Sting as well. As it tracks in from the west, going toward the east, I'll move the radar over just a bit so you can see the system that's kind of tracking off towards the east. So later this morning, though, we'll be watching this thing moving in. By around 10 o'clock or so, we'll start seeing this thing starting to move in or so. Let's zoom things out, give you the bigger picture. Here's the system right about here. It looks like we had a little bit of lightning with this thing as well. So some energy with it last night early this morning, and now we're watching it moving into our backyard. So otherwise, though, we'll be watching this thing moving in today. Snowfall mainly, but a little bit of rain cannot be ruled out either. We could possibly see it switch over to a little bit of a wind sheet mix of rain, sleet, and snow for a while later on this evening. Then once we head towards tomorrow morning, this will begin to back off. So your hourly forecast for the rest of the morning and afternoon period, the winds are a lot calmer as well. There is a wind sheet precipitation beginning late morning to the afternoon period with temperatures in the 30s. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up.
Thank you, Devin. Well, even though Thanksgiving is still a few weeks away, it's creeping up on us, though.
I know.
A local middle school had a special feast of its own. On Wednesday, Herman Middle School celebrated its second annual harvest lunch with a spread made of entirely locally sourced ingredients. For this special occasion, the school invited the students' parents to attend as a way to bring the community together.
I think it's important to bring parents into Herman Middle School to ensure that they are able to see what we're doing in the schools, able to enjoy their time with the kids. I think community matters, and this is how we bring our community in.
In total, the school served 430 Herman Harvest meals, and they looked really good, too.
Very neat.
That's awesome.
Early Thanksgiving for them. Boy, the salad looked wonderful.
It looked awesome, yeah.
Good for them.
Yeah. All right, much more to come when we return. Tyler Cruz will have the latest with sports and much more.
Don't go away.
Sample and savor the very best in all we produce here in Maine at the Maine Harvest Festival, Cross Insurance Center, Bangor, November 18th and 19th, presented by the Maine Potato Board, MaineHarvestFestival.com.
Gun Sports and Brewer knows that for fun, exercise, and meeting new friends, nothing is better than ice skating. Whether it's sailing down the ice, making a great pass, and scoring in a game of hockey, or the grace, strength, and expression of figure skating. From the youngest child all the way to adulthood, anyone can enjoy the fun of skating. At Gun Sports, we supply the equipment for your skating fun for great prices, the proper fit, and service after the sale. Shop your locally owned Gun Sports shop, 3 Point Road in Brewer.
Hanks Husqvarna is your full-line Husqvarna dealer with 2 convenient locations, 32 Old State Road in Carmel and 19 Moosehead Trail in Newport. Whether it's tractors and zero turns, chainsaws to trimmers, or pressure washers to snow blowers, everything is set up, serviced, and ready to go by our certified Husqvarna technician. And all sales are backed by our in-house Husqvarna warranty. For parts, service, or sales, stop in to Hanks Husqvarna, Carmel, or Newport.
Celebrate Maine artisans, sampling and shopping the very best of Maine products at the Maine Harvest Festival, Cross Insurance Center, Bangor, November 18th and 19th, presented by the Maine Potato Board, MaineHarvestFestival.com.
Local news weeknights at 6 with Beth Jones and Peter Dubois on ABC 7.
Welcome back in, everyone. Thank you for staying with us. We're going to kick things off with some high school soccer. Regional finals for girls and boys B and C North are taking place on Wednesday night. Let's go to Hamden Academy, where we'll start things for B North, starting with the girls. The defending champs, the 4 seed from Herman, facing off against the 3 seed from Ellsworth. Late in the first half, Ellsworth's Megan Jordan pushes it ahead to Addison Atherton. She takes a shot, and that sneaks into the corner of the net. 1-0 Eagles. Early second half, now a free kick from Jordan. Lily Bean with the header, and that goes in. Ellsworth up 2-0. Later on, we go now from a tough angle. This is Kelsey Lambert. She crosses it in. That makes it 3-0 Ellsworth. But Herman would stage a late comeback. Here's Sam Grover with a goal. That's going to make it 3-2, just a 1-goal game. But Ellsworth would hang on to win Class B North. It's their first regional title since '99.
It's kind of just this feeling of like being dazed, almost like you don't even feel like it's really happening. And then it just hits you like this wave of happiness.
All right, Ellsworth looking for the sweep. Now 2-seeded Eagles against the top seed, John Bapst, in the boys' final. Under a minute in, throw in by Ellsworth's Owen Frank, and Cruz Coffin is right there for the header. They take an early 1-0 lead. Second half we go now. Frank on a free kick. That gets blocked by Connor Maservi, but Cal Leslie cleans it up. That's going to make it 2-0 Eagles. All right, 8 minutes left in regulation. It's 2-1 now. John Bapst, Jack DeRozier. Look at that free kick. A perfect bend on it off the post. We're tied at 2. We go to overtime. First overtime, Ethan Marquis. Free kick. Perfectly placed, his second goal of the game. That's the game winner. Crusaders come back to win their second straight regional title.
It just felt great because this is the Northern Maine Finals, my first time here, and to make it to States was just a great feeling. So, you know, it was the best feeling all season.
All right, big congrats to them. Over to Cameron Stadium now. Bucksport looking to repeat as Class C North champs. They're taking on Fort Kent. First half, Reese Doucette gets it in, past the defense, into the box. Here comes Jetta Shook sliding in for the save. Still in the first. Chance for Bucksport now. Addison Goss on the corner, but Allie Fournier, here she is for Fort Kent, sending it out of the box. That saves a goal. To the second half now. A good ball leads Doucette right into the box. A collision with Shook. They get tangled up. That ball trickles in for the score. That's going to make it 1-0. And then Mia Voisin in goal for Fort Kent. She was a wall all game. That goal, the difference maker. Warriors win the regional final 1-0. All right, let's stay here. Over to the boys now. Mount View and George Stevens battling for that crown. First half, GSA up 2-0. Look at this passing here. Jack Carson to Dominic Nevels to Rowan Gagne. He scores at point-blank range. That makes it 3-0. Still in the first half, they're looking for more. This one is going to be a nice save here from Bernie Dodge. He leaps up and gets it, keeps the Mustangs in it. So to the second half we go. This goal is just dirty. Some beautiful footwork here from Fred Coit. Fires with the left, gets it to go. Eagles, they would go on to win 4-0 is your final there. They are headed to states.
This moment's been what we've been looking forward to all season. We've been working since even before preseason to work and get here for it. And we've been working so hard for this moment. We faced so many challenges, and now we're here. We've won, and we're going to states now.
All right, big congrats to all of them and a good luck to all of them on Saturday. Let's go to another kind of football now. Moving on to the Patriots. More drama in Foxborough. The Pats reportedly will be keeping cornerback J.C. Jackson at home this weekend when the team travels to Germany to play the Colts after reportedly missing curfew at the team hotel last Saturday. Jack Jones also reportedly missing that curfew. Both defensive backs sat out for most of the first quarter after that. Meanwhile, things can only get better for the 2-7 Patriots who, if the season ended right now, they would be picking 5th overall in next year's draft. After the Colts game, the Pats will have their bye week, and then they finish out the season with some very tough games, the Chargers, Steelers, and Chiefs. Quarterback Mac Jones has had an up-and-down season so far. He says a trip overseas may do this football team some good.
Yeah, I think it's cool, right? I mean, it's a great opportunity for us to go out there and play the game that we love, you know, and in front of a different crowd, and I'm definitely looking forward to it.
All right, we can only hope, right? I guess that's all we have left. That's all the time we have for sports. We'll be right back after the break.
When outdoors, some people like it hot and some people like it cold. However, when indoors, most people like it comfortably warm. Choose a Boderas boiler from McCusick Petroleum Company to provide you with comfortable and efficient heat. They also offer sales and service on many brands of furnaces, boilers, and water heaters. McCusick Petroleum Company delivers oil and LP gas to homes and businesses throughout the Pequot region. If you'd like more information on pricing or service, call or stop by our office in Dover Foxcroft.
My father started a roofing company in the 1970s.
Back when asbestos was still commonly used in Maine.
When George was diagnosed with mesothelioma, we knew there wasn't a cure yet, but we knew he needed help.
We called Joe Bornstein's office because this family means business.
Their team is handling everything, representing Mainers who were victims of asbestos exposure.
We highly recommend the law offices of Joe Bornstein.
Call Joe today for a free case evaluation. There's never a fee unless you win.
Skilled trade workers are the backbone of every community, and also the Army National Guard. Soldiers get paid training to keep the power flowing, engines running, and supplies moving. Army National Guard soldiers are learning skills that can set them up for success with companies looking to hire the best.
The Army National Guard basically built my resume for me.
Find out how you can learn a trade and serve part-time for your community and country by visiting nationalguard.com.
Welcome back, everyone. Now to the breaking news from Hollywood. They have a deal at midnight Pacific time. One of the longest strikes in Hollywood finally came to an end. So what does that mean for your favorite movies and your favorite TV shows? Here's ABC's Andrea Fujii with more.
This morning, a hooray in Hollywood.
I'm really excited that we've reached an agreement. I think it's a groundbreaking agreement.
SAG-AFTRA reaching a deal with the major studios to end the nearly 4-month-long actors' strike that affected 160,000 union members and cost the U.S. economy billions of dollars. Terms of the deal have yet to be disclosed pending final ratification, but the billion-dollar agreement includes a significant boost in minimum pay, increased residual payments for streaming content, and new protections from artificial intelligence.
The AI protections were absolutely essential to the union. They would not have called an end to this strike without achieving them.
SAG-AFTRA President Fran Drescher saying, "We did it, the billion-plus deal, 3 times the last contract. New ground was broke everywhere." The Alliance of Motion Picture and TV Producers saying it looks forward to the industry resuming the work of telling great stories. Film crew members as early as today could return to productions that were paused mid-shoot when the strike began. They include Deadpool 3 and Gladiator 2.
Are you not entertained?
Other projects should restart shooting once scripts are finished. The timing helping to save next year's summer movie season.
If work couldn't begin this month on shows, then there wasn't going to be anything happening until January. And that was a very scary prospect for everyone.
As for TV, new episodes of your favorite shows still could be months away, but actors will be back on the promotion circuit almost immediately, getting the word out that Hollywood is back in business.
Fuji reporting. Good news indeed. All right, let's check in with Devin Biggs for another check of that forecast one more time for the hour.
Alrighty, thank you very much. Your full weather forecast brought to you by Joe's Market. Discover Joe's Market, 102 Garland Street in Bangor. Your one-stop shop for groceries, fine wines, and craft beers. Quality and variety await you at Joe's. Alright, a couple of advisories from earlier this morning. A small crowd advisory expired at 5 a.m., so we're finished with that one. This one, though, remains in effect for the northwestern parts of the state until 3 o'clock p.m. because of snowfall and a little bit of a wintry mix that will be moving in as well. Wave heights have definitely calmed down from the winds that we had yesterday. Still active further out towards sea, though. You can see where the surface just a little bit higher, but near us, though, a lot of this is a lot calmer at around 1 to 2 feet. And now we're watching the radar as well. Precipitation moving in from the west, going toward the east as well. We're calm for now, but look what's moving in our direction. Rain and snow on the way, though. Mainly snowfall, but a little bit of rainfall will be possible throughout the daytime period as this all tracks in from the west, going toward the east. Let's zoom things out and give you the bigger picture. So low pressure right about in here, tracking from the west, going toward the east, and that's what's going to be giving us the precipitation coming out throughout the daytime period for today. So futurecast moving forward, mainly snowfall, a little bit of rain could mix in as well. This begins mainly at around 10 o'clock a.m. or so, and we'll keep it going throughout the daytime period, mixing in with a little bit of rain from time to time. And this pink right here indicating a little bit of a wintry mix possible of rain, sleet, and snow possible as we head towards later this evening. But the good news is, as we head towards later on tonight, this all begins to back off, and then we enter a calm stretch, though, where the weather will remain quiet for a good while as we head towards Friday morning. No, a mixture of some clouds and sunshine, and that'll be about it. I do believe we'll stay dry for the day on Friday, and just by Friday night as well, just some clouds passing through from time to time, and that'll be about it. Otherwise, though, the snowfall accumulations moving forward, though, looks a little bit like this. So hardly anything further down toward the south, though, so nothing too major. You have to go further off towards the north, or maybe up to an inch or two of snowfall will be possible before we're all finished up. So a little bit down here, though, by the Bangor area and areas to the south, but with the warmer temperatures, whatever falls will melt rather quickly. So that forecast coming up for today, middle 30s, mostly cloudy, rain and snow. The wind will be a lot calmer today, with that northwest wind getting up to about 5 miles per hour. Later on tonight, though, lower 30s, rain, sleet, and snow possible. Some patchy fog as well cannot be ruled out, with that east wind getting up to about 5 miles per hour. For tomorrow, upper 40s, mostly cloudy and breezy, with that west wind getting up to about 25 miles per hour. Joe's Market extended forecast, so partly cloudy on Saturday, which is Veterans Day, with highs in the lower 40s. Lower 40s again on Sunday with a mostly sunny sky, and mostly sunny on Monday, highs in the low 40s.
Every night is pizza night at Dragonfire Pizza. From wings, salads, and sides to our specialty wood-fired pizzas. You'll find everything you need to satisfy any craving by the slice or by the pie. A little slice of heaven is waiting for you at Dragonfire Pizza, Mill Mall, Ellsworth.
COVID-19 is still a major health concern. It hasn't gone away, and new cases are on the rise. Everyone aged 6 months and older should be vaccinated against COVID. People with high blood pressure, asthma, heart disease, and diabetes, who are overweight and who are older, are at a higher risk of getting very sick from COVID. Get vaccinated. Don't risk your health. Visit hometownhealthcenter.org for more information.
I got hurt by a big truck. Why did I call the twos? Because life-changing injuries deserve life-changing money, and I'll fight to get it for you. We got a client who broke multiple bones in a commercial vehicle accident, $700,000. Another client had a brain injury, and we got them $1.15 million. If you get hurt by a big truck, call the twos. We win for you.
Hurt by a big truck, call the twos. We win for you.
It's a paradise love triangle.
Olivia and Kat are both interested in John Henry.
It's causing a cat fight.
I look at her and I'm like...
Olivia finally cracked.
Can we just chat? I can't watch. I'm scared.
New Bachelor in Paradise tonight on ABC.
On election night, Eastern Maine turned to us for Maine Decides 2022.
As the votes were being counted and the winners announced, we brought you there.
The race was called against question 3.
Looks like there was a decisive win with question 6 and I as Secretary of State.
When the numbers showed that we were going to get a resounding win.
On air and online.
You can count on ABC 7 and Fox 22.
Pablo Picasso's popular painting sells for a pretty penny. Sotheby's auctioned off the artist's Femme à la Montre painting for more than $139 million on Wednesday. In New York, it becomes the most valuable art sold globally at an auction this year. The artwork was created in 1932 when Picasso was 50 years old. The anonymous buyer's winning bid was $121 million before taxes and fees.
I'm not sure what Pablo would think. I wonder if he ever imagined his paintings would sell for so much.
I wonder. Yeah.
All right, well, buying blueberries could cost you more at the supermarket. A report says U.S. grocery stores are facing a blueberry shortage. Peru, which is the world's top exporter of blueberries, is dealing with an El Nino weather phenomenon, according to the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. The extreme heat and dry weather conditions in the country is creating a smaller blueberry harvest this year. The report says the weather conditions have cut supplies of the fruit by as much as 70%, while prices have risen to almost $6 a pound. But there is some relief coming as North America's growing season kicks off in the spring.
Ooh, tough for their exports, though. Makes it harder for them. Well, a live-action film based on the classic Nintendo game The Legend of Zelda is in the works. Wes Ball, who is directing the upcoming Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, will also direct this newest video game flick. It's being financed by Sony Pictures Entertainment and Nintendo. Production of The Legend of Zelda comes on the heels of the success of the Super Mario Brothers movie, which earned more than $1.3 billion at the box office. The movie's popularity also boosted sales of the Nintendo Switch console, along with the Mario game titles. The Legend of Zelda has had countless installments since its initial debut in 1986. They all involve a young hero named Link, who teams up with Princess Zelda to fight evil.
Yeah, that one's been popular for a long time.
A long time. I know a lot of people who will be very excited.
Yeah.
All right, if you missed anything, at foxbangor.com.
Have a great day, everyone.